Start zijn gegeven voor de groep 19 tot 34.
Alright, so here we go. Start of the race. Started in position 150 out of the 470 or something in my age category, which is 18 to 35. Started super chaotic, had to smash the brakes immediately. So many people started at the same time. Everyone just wanted to move a few spots forward. Me including. First corner here. And obviously after every corner you have to do a small sprint, so 900 watts already. And now we're starting to get closer to the first climb of this race, the Kouwberg, which is a 3-minute climb or something. So the UCI has the tendency to put these tough climbs at the start of some races. They did the same in Hoofa Gravel and also in the coming race in Aachen. I believe they do so because then the stronger riders are able to ride to the front and have a good opportunity to overtake the weaker riders without going through too much trouble. Later on you will see that it becomes harder to overtake the weaker riders as the roads become more flat and more narrow. The UCI also made a few changes for the 2024 season compared to the 2023 season. They created 2 whole new segments, one for the elite male riders and one for the elite female riders. These are entirely different segments, and people riding in the elite segments only compete for qualification spots within the elite segment. So previous year I had to compete with Wout van Aert for the same qualification spot, but this year I'm only competing against amateurs who also have to combine everyday life with riding their bike, which seems way more fair to me. So now we are at the start of the Kouwberg. Going to be a 2 to 3 minute climb, and I'm trying to pace myself now because previous year in Hoofa Gravel I completely destroyed myself during the first climbs, which caused that the rest of the race I was just a complete mess. So now I'm trying to pace myself around 420 to 450 watts, which is an effort I can really well recover from and doesn't cost me too much trouble. I'm not entirely sure whether this was the best strategy or not, because later on it becomes so hard to overtake other riders, and if you want to overtake other riders, this was a pretty good moment. But yeah, I'm not sure about this decision, but feeling good during the race is also worth a lot. Now if you are a more experienced rider than me, please let me know in the comments what you think about this strategy. Maybe it can help me in my future races. I'm getting overtaken here by a few riders, but yeah, that's alright, because I know I don't want to blow up at this point. Also overtaking a few other riders myself. And here we are getting close to the top of the Kouwberg. Seeing the Amstel sign means that you are almost there. And I've paced myself pretty well. I've got a heart rate of 175, 174, which isn't too high, because I think my maximum heart rate this race was about 185. So I know I had some gas left here. So now I'm looking for opportunities to move a few spots forward. Hesitating for a few seconds to go on the sidewalk because the pavement is not as well as on the current road we're on, but yeah, going on to the left is also not possible. So I'm giving it a go here. A few other guys have the same idea, some people are following my wheel. And then it's just getting more to the front of the race. Now something really sketchy is going to happen here, because next the sidewalk was ending, so I had to go more to the left, and I had to pull the brakes very hard because this guy cut me off, didn't look, just went to the left immediately, then he cuts off another rider, that's why he's being pushed forward. Then major crash had happened there, involving 5 riders. Then he does it again. So the chaos is complete at this point. I know I don't need to stay behind this guy, so I need to push a little extra to move a few spots more to the front. And here I think I needed to push a little harder, because I got still overtaken by a few other riders who were probably smarter at this point and knew that in the next section the road was becoming much more narrow and it will become way harder to overtake other riders at that point. So I got overtaken by a few riders here, and now it becomes really difficult to move more to the front. Doing a small sprint after the corner. First minor gap of the race. Looking for opportunities to go past the other riders here, but it's getting super narrow. Here the cameraman was standing on the racetrack. Pretty dangerous, but he was probably able to catch the most epic pictures of the race. Now here it becomes really hard to overtake the others. I try to, but here I have to immediately pull the brakes, otherwise I would be in the bushes. So yeah, I think I'm pretty stuck at this point. So here on the double track section you can overtake a few riders, but it's really hard because the only way to do that is by going in the middle of the road, where you have to put in way more power than the rest to overtake the others. But here right before the corner it works really well to be in the middle of the road, because everybody on the side is hitting their brakes really hard and you can take easily like 6 or 7 positions here. So that's really nice that that worked so well. And then we are in the wheel of Fat Guy. Please remember him for later. And when you have a closer look at the left of the screen, you can see at what position I am. You can see all the riders that are still in front of me, so I think I'm probably around position 110 maybe here. At this point the pace was really picking up, going almost 40 an hour in this group on this bumpy terrain. Water bottles are flying around here. So luckily we dodged them all, because otherwise it might end really bad. And here you can also see how many people are still in front of me when looking on the left. So then we were going in this beautiful descent. I was getting in an aero position, trying to get as low as possible, putting the hands on the steer, and try to overtake as many riders as possible, going around 50 an hour here. So descending for me was going pretty well this race. Almost in every descent I was able to overtake a few other riders. So I might have gained a few pounds, or I'm just very good at being aero. I'm afraid it's the first one. So next we're going in a single track section. Tried to take a shortcut here, but I just landed slightly off the single track, which brought me off my balance, so I had to let a few riders pass me, and then I could join the single track again, and I found myself back at Fat Guy again. And now something terrible is going to happen. Unfortunately, I'm going to hit like a big bump in here. There it was, and now my bottle dropped. You see it lying on the floor right there, and it contained 1 liter of water with 150 grams of carbs, which was over 1.5 hours of energy for me. So yeah, that really sucked, because I had to make a split-second decision. Am I going to go forward, or do I wait here and go back and pick up my bottle? But things were going so fast here that yeah, it was not possible to go back and pick up the bottle. So yeah, here I had to do all kinds of calculations. Okay, so I lost 1 bottle, I have 1 bottle left. How am I going to survive this race? So yeah, that really sucked. So next we are entering the first dangerous descent. So this was quite technical, everyone was pretty nervous, and yeah, I had to be really careful here. Yeah, descending was my thing. I wanted to gain an advantage here, so I just had to be really careful with overtaking the others. Here unfortunately someone cuts me off, and I had to pull the brakes there. Also someone fixing his bike on the right, so I had to be really careful there. And that's also already the end of the technical descent. Now for the last few Ks I've been riding with this group. I've been able to move up a few positions, and this is just in front of the most technical climb of the race. Not that large, but really steep, and I wanted to go in and give it all, so I was going really quick. But then this guy started to fix his bike, and then I got cut off by Fat Guy, and we both had to get off our bikes, and it was just frustrating because I had such a good start of the climb. So to everyone who's watching and who's going to race in the future, please fix your bike next to the track and not on the racing course. I've seen this many times during the race, and most of the times it led to really dangerous situations. So please bear in mind. Now back to the race. I tried to overtake a few other riders here, but it's super technical and there are not many lines that you can ride here very well. So I had to wait until there were more lines coming, and then I was able to overtake the others. Here I had to fight for position, then I could overtake this one, and then I was finally able to speed up the pace. Now in the rear cam you can see that people are following my wheel, because they all know that the people in the front are creating a larger gap, so we have to make a big effort already to come back to those. Overtaking a few more riders. And now you can see how big the gap has already become to the group I was with at the start of the climb. Only Fat Guy is left from that group, and now they are already around the corner, and we still have to go into the corner. And right after the corner we get a very strong headwind, so it was really hard to get back to that group. But me together with Fat Guy, we were just giving everything we had. Some people following behind us because they also wanted to get back at the group, but unfortunately they didn't make it. Probably I could have better waited at this point with the group behind me. But during the race you are so focused on the group in front of you that I wanted to put in a big effort to catch back on those guys. Fat guy giving everything he has to get back to the group in front of us, and we almost made it. Heart rate 185, highest of this race, and yeah, I'm not quite sure whether this was worth the effort. But we made it, so small victory achieved here. And 1 minute later I already knew that it wasn't worth the effort because the group behind us has already got us back, because the one in the yellow jersey is the first finisher of the age category male 35, and yeah, these guys are crazy fast here. Fellow YouTuber Jasper Verkuil riding at second position at this point for the male 35 category. So yeah, those guys were able to ride the whole group back to us, and I saw that my effort was just for nothing, which was great. So next time I'm sure we'll wait for other fast riders to come and join the group, because yeah, it's still so early in the race, so much can still happen, and so many fast riders are still trying to get to the front of the race. So next time I will probably wait for one of those and catch those wheels. This is also a really interesting section, because I made a huge mistake here which could have easily been avoided. So I hope you will learn from this too. I was riding at the front of the pack for a few minutes now, and I had no idea how many people were behind me. In the front I saw this rider, and I decided it was time for me to give up my position in the front so I could rest a bit. But I stayed behind this rider, of which I knew that was not as fast as my group. So I let the others pass me, and here I waited gently until it was time for me to overtake the rider in the front. And here I tried to overtake her from the right, but then the road ends on the right side, so I have to hit the brakes again and stay in her wheel. When it was finally my turn, we entered the mud section, and it became really hard to overtake her. So that was a good lesson for me here. Now, what you absolutely don't want to do in these mud sections is to look for faster lines to overtake the rider in front of you, because that is super risky and you might get stuck in there. Here, let me demonstrate this for you. So I just made a huge effort here. My bike and my chain and my derailleur are completely in mud now, and all I got was that I just lost one spot. So be careful with those sections. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but for those who are sensitive to crashes, I would advise not to watch the upcoming corner. Here's someone crashing, but luckily no one else was involved, and he stands already, so we can continue. I was luckily not involved and just able to move around to crash, and then I suddenly found myself in front of the group, out of the blue. So here we are at the start of the most technical climb of the race again. We had to do this climb 3 times because we had to do 3 rounds of around 30 k's. And this is the moment I started to crack. I had been way too conservative with my fueling because I lost almost half of my nutrition along the way. Therefore I was left with only 1 bottle of energy and 3 small gels for the whole race. So I didn't have the power anymore to keep up the pace here, and I was now the one holding back the others. So I'm moving a bit over to the right here to let the others pass me, and I'm just completely destroyed. Even the nice spectators here could not provide me with the energy anymore. I'm trying to give one more push to get back at the group, but it is already too late. After the corner, I'm riding into a strong headwind, so there's no way I'm going to make it back. I'm completely exhausted at this point, and it's only kilometer 50 out of the 105, so I'm not even halfway there. In the next few kilometers I will get dropped a few more times. And then later on my chain dropped at the key moment. I lost all hope on the qualification because luck was just not on my side today. Lost my bottle, chain dropped at the key moment, and I had almost no energy left in the tank. So from now on I will get dropped a few more times, losing a lot of positions in the ranking, and it took a long time for me to regain my strength. And things finally start to change when I land up behind this legend. I'm gonna show you why he's a legend in a few moments, but for now we were just working together to get more to the front. He was mainly doing the work and I sometimes helped him until we come together with another very strong rider. This guy was an absolute beast. They forgot the S on his shorts, and he carried us all the way forward. So from kilometer 60 he carried us all the way to kilometer 68, and I was just hanging on for dear life in his wheel. At this point my energy was still at an all-time low, but now a life-changing moment is going to happen. The guy in the front offers Mr. Beast his gel, but he doesn't need it because he's a machine, and then I asked if I could maybe have it, and he said sure. So I took his gel, ate it up, and that was exactly the boost that I needed, so that's why he is a legend. Unfortunately, the gel didn't have its effect immediately, so I wasn't able to hold their wheels anymore. Mr. Beast qualified himself for the World Championships, and the legend was only 40 seconds short for qualification. So still everything was possible at that point. And that was already one of the last kilometers I filmed, so let me quickly summarize what happens in the last 30 Ks. I was most of the time riding with this group until I got a flat tire 5 kilometers before the finish. Then I tried to blast some air in it with a CO2 cartridge, hoping it would last 5 Ks, but after 500 meters it was flat once again. So then I plugged it, and at last I was able to finish the race in 3 hours and 32 minutes at position 196 out of the 470 riders, and I finished 7 minutes short for the qualification. Now let's finish off with the data overview. I raced 3 hours and 33 minutes with a normalized power of 299. Now to put that into perspective, normalized 300. So I'm pretty happy with the results. My next race will be very soon, so if you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of that in the future. See you in the next one. Cheers!
Pedal to the left, subscribe to the channel. Join every race and be part of a change. Become a fan.